Welcome to Chapter 9, New Beginnings. Ashley got out of bed and then rushed to her computer to check the GoFundMe page for Pumpkin's surgery. She started to cry. Right there on the screen, she saw more than $7,500 waiting for Pumpkin. Her goal was halfway met, more than halfway met. She was completely blown away. I wish every single animal had such an army behind them. You all are such amazing, selfless people, and I just can't thank you enough for your support. Ashley walked outside to check on Pumpkin and shared the good news. You are truly so lucky to have so many people who love you, Ashley said as she slipped Pumpkin's braces on one at a time. Throughout the day, she watched the numbers on the GoFundMe page climb. It was so inspiring. People were rallying around Pumpkin in a way that Ashley never could have dreamed of. She scrolled through the comments. I love you, and I love your story. Stay strong. So excited for Pumpkin. She's absolutely precious. I follow your page from Belgium. Good luck to Pumpkin and her mom. Love you, Pumpkin. Go, Pumpkin, go. The fall was about to get another chance. In just 3 days, $13,000. $13,055 had been raised for Pumpkin. Ashley was just speechless. Pumpkin's first surgery was in 5 days. The veterinary hospital was only a short drive from the sanctuary, but even so, Ashley made sure that Thea stayed at Pumpkin's side. She wasn't going to let the little foal go through surgery without her mama nearby. She carried Pumpkin to the back of her car, then loaded Thea inside too. Tomorrow, Pumpkin's front leg would be operated on. It was the worst leg by far, which made Ashley especially worried. Surgery was scary enough, but tackling the biggest problem first seemed like a risk. There was so much room for failure, but she knew Pumpkin was in great hands. They wouldn't even start the surgery unless he was in perfect health. Ashley dropped off the 2 horses and watched the veterinarian take them away. She couldn't shake the nervousness that was just forming in her stomach. As she drove away from the hospital, she felt like a piece of her was missing. Pumpkin and Thea were a part of her family now, and this surgery was a big deal. It had never been performed on all 4 legs on a horse before. Pumpkin needed all the prayers, good vibes, and positive energy she could get. Pumpkin stood in a hay-filled room with her mom. The walls were white. There was a green bucket nearby. She had a fresh haircut and a cast on her leg. Just yesterday, she had to lie on a table and sleep while people worked on her leg yet again. It seemed as though every time she came here, they checked her legs. She was able to walk around now, and it didn't hurt. They'd given her some medicine that seemed to help. Then she heard some voices. It was a little boy and a nice woman. She ran up to the little boy and rubbed her nose against the side of his body. That was her way of giving a hug. It was so nice to see him, even though it had been just a few days. Anywhere he walked, she followed. She'd missed him so much. When would she get to go home and play with him? Hopefully soon. Ashley couldn't believe how well Pumpkin was doing after the surgery. The vet had placed a steel plate on her pastern bone on the bottom of her foot where her leg was very loose and bent the wrong way. The steel plate was firm, so it kept her leg straight and in the correct position, but she was still able to bend her knee. Right now, she was wearing a cast to protect the incision. The incision is the cut they made for surgery from getting infected, and also to make sure that she didn't end up with any broken bones. She was walking around with no problem at all, and she looked great with her haircut. It made her bushy mane and tail stand out even more. Pumpkin was the definition of a trooper. Ashley updated her supporters, and they were thrilled with the good news. Yay, Pumpkin, you're so strong and brave. She's so beautiful, and so are you and your family for all you do. We love you, Pumpkin. Stay strong. Deacon was happy, but he missed his friend. When can Pumpkin come home? He asked. Soon, Ashley said. It had been more than a week since Pumpkin and Thea had first stepped into the hospital. She needed to be checked on many times a day by the doctors to make sure she was recovering well. If she stayed on track, she would come home soon. But then the next surgery would be 2 to 3 weeks later. So for the time being, Deacon was going to have to get used to being separated from his buddy. The second surgery would include both Pumpkin's front right leg and her back left leg. Then after that, she needed only 1 more surgery. But the idea of 2 more surgeries was almost too much for Ashley to bear. Operating on 2 legs was harder than operating on 1, wasn't it? Hopefully, Pumpkin would handle the next two surgeries as easily as she had handled the first. Pumpkin's hospital stay was already running longer than Ashley had anticipated or predicted, which meant she was running through the fundraising money quickly. She considered how long she could wait before she had to ask again for more money. It felt as though she was always begging people for money and donations. When would their kindness dry up? But right now, she focused on the positive news. Pumpkin's first surgery was complete, and she'd be home soon.